What's up you guys, this is Rob from Plays, and today we're going to be digging through Devstream 87 for some of the lowdown on what the hell is going to be happening to some of our enemies. So there was actually a ton of discussion about new potential enemies, new systems, and boss reworks, but let's start off with things that are less of a conversation and a little bit more solidified. Now let's jump to an actual new unit. Corpus snipers will be able to drop down a fabricator and create a micro hyena. These things are absolutely adorable, but will probably be a pain because it looks like they're shooting out electrical beams at you. So basically mobile Grenier arc traps, but in a far cuter form. However, if this is not your cup of tea, you can destroy the fabricator to prevent them from spawning. Next up, we see some changes to the Infested eximus. At higher levels, Infested eximus will have a chance to spawn a weak point. Higher level enemies will have a chance to spawn multiple depending on their level. You will have to destroy these weak spots in order to inflict damage onto that target. Now, for some players, this may sound a bit daunting, but just be aware that you will be able to use control effects in order to make them easier to hit. In addition, they are also looking to implement similar effects onto other factions, but they are trying to find different ways to keep the factions feeling unique. So at the moment, this specific mechanic is solely tied to the Infested. Now, before we move on, I gotta insert something here before the ranting begins. If you are not a fan of this idea, keep in mind that players have been asking for enemies to be tactically more difficult. This is a player push thing. I know because I've seen it in my comment section for the last year. So if you're looking to play the blame game, now you know which direction to aim your aggression at. However, as always, I say hold your damn horses because we have yet to interact with the final variations. So don't make yourself look like an ass quite yet until there's an actual reason for it. Moving along to mission types, we are going to be getting a very interesting escalating rescue mission. This time around we'll be saving Grenier defectors from the Infested. Their health pools will deplete as they proceed through the escort route and will need to stop at healing stations until they finally hit the exit. Personally, the prototype is looking a bit rough, but they have stated it will be coming up in an event fairly soon, so be sure to keep your eyes out. Next up, we've got the Ambulas rework. They mentioned that the new reworked Ambulus would be very similar to the Bursa. However, instead of shields, you will be required to destroy armored panels in order to make it vulnerable. And I'm not quite sure how they're going to work it in, but there will be a dropship involved that sounds like it's going to be fully armed and be capable of deploying drones that's going to be trying to pick them up for distribution. They have also spoken about using the dropship in future standard missions to send in reinforcements in open tile sets that don't really have well-placed spawn zones. Honestly, I think this looks absolutely badass and I cannot wait to see it in game. Now, in addition to Ambulas, Nef Anyo is also on the table for a rework, with talks about interacting with the environment to shut down a shield that is keeping him from being harmed. However, this does only seem to be in talks at the moment, so aside from the general idea that they've got going, it doesn't sound like they have anything too concrete set up. In that same vein, they also discussed the Syndicate assassinations. They're going to generate each individual clan an enemy organization from a random faction, with a procedurally generated kingpin that each have their own unique powers, defenses, and vulnerabilities. Clan warlords will be able to influence the types of missions that lead up to the kingpin confrontation. As you defeat their henchmen, the kingpin will put complications in your path, from hiring assassination squads to hacking parts of your dojo. Of course, all of this is work in progress, so we have to wait to see what we actually get upon launch. The only thing that I am cautioning people on is that they stated that this will scale with the size of your clan, so I suggest that y'all get your clan situation sorted out sooner than later. Now for the really nebulous stuff. Keep in mind that there was merely discussion about these following topics. It didn't necessarily feel like these were in as heavy development as the previous talking points. First off, they had an amazing graphic of what they were referring to as the sentient carrier. This unit would pick up sparks from falling sentients and infuse them into other sentient shells, making the carriers a priority enemy to deal with. Now, there seem to be no release plans for this, and it seems to be attached to the future full release of the sentient faction, whenever that is gonna happen. Next up, they did have talks about working on operator gameplay, as many people really enjoyed the Maw, and also mentioned that they would be looking into possibly changing the energy system for our operators, but that is as far as the conversation went. They also touched on creating a new stealth-based enemy. Steve got really excited about it, and now it's gonna be a thing, I guess. But aside from that, we will just have to wait for more details. And last, but definitely not least, was our visual preview of the Bard's abilities. I'm just gonna sit here and let this be a thing for a moment.
Okay, give me some more. Give me some more.
Scott's gonna get so mad because he doesn't get to talk about it. But
give me some more layers, though. I'm feeling this. Oh, I can beat match that.
Is it my music?
Yeah. Okay. Enough energy to give me some more. Yeah.
This is beginning to look like a Winamp visualization.
I know, exactly. We've been saying Winamp the whole time. Yeah.
I want to hear it. Can I hear it?
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh my god, this is so exciting.
Now, as you guys can tell, this is a massive energy effect shitstorm, and I get that many of you people are crying over the death of your frames per second, but I honestly kinda love it. Now, in my opinion, it still looks a bit rough, and I hope they do a few more polish passes to make it as pretty as possible, especially if it's gonna be all up in our faces like that. So, that pretty much does it for this installment. Let me know what you guys think about the upcoming changes to the Infested eximus, how cute you think the micro hyenas are, and if you are dreading or dying for the Bardframe's energy effects. Y'all know which camp I'm in, and that shit is #confirmed. So thank you all for watching this episode. Be sure to check out my previous installment of the Daily Grind where I answer your frequently asked questions, as well as my latest Doing It Raw where we take a look at the best primary weapons to use against high-level armor. Now, don't forget to do all the things that I ask you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch yo body. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye!